throw. Sophomore, Crew Academy product. And Matt Thompson walking over to have a word. Matt Thompson having a word with Gage Garrow. We mentioned him, the transfer from Army. 4 goals in his last 3 matches. Reigning ACC Offensive Player of the Week. Talking to Gabriel McKenna. UConn transfer. Excuse me, the Niagara transfer. One of 3 Niagara transfers on the roster. Flips it up over his head. They create an opportunity for Lorenzo Baselli. He gives a first-time strike, and they get a corner. Syracuse leads the nation in corners, 32, now 33. They get 8 a game, and they've scored 3 of their 7 goals on corners.
You're going to want to watch this side of the field because Quentin Elliott, the outside left back for Louisville, loves to attack. He wants to be in possession, and he'll invert himself to help out Bradley Sample within the midfield, but he's got to be cognizant of that space in behind. That's a lot of pressure on Bryce LaBelle to shift over if they give it up in transition.
Lebec to take the corner. Low ball flicked on. Shevsky settled and then got it back to Oyagunle, who'll just pop it back toward the mixer. A lot of contact there, and there will be a foul. Louisville will take control.
Down something else you can think about within this game. We were talking about experience and how ACC play is different. Talking to John Michael Hayden about his squad and, you know, the beautiful game that really has become this team in 2023 and 22. They were good, but they had a lot of young players. So guys like Quentin Elliott, a Bradley Sample within the midfield who is coming over and kind of taking everything from all of these young guys. You're looking at 4 or 5 freshmen last year that are still there in the starting lineup. So although it's only their 2nd year, these guys have so much game experience and certainly within conference play, but they're regularly featured within the starting 11. When you know that your name is almost sharpied onto that team sheet, that provides confidence that is very difficult to replicate.
2 of those guys for Louisville, Bradley Sample and Bryce LaBelle, started every match last year. Nice reverse pass. Kalukian on it, plays it back, and shot just north. Jonah Leibold couldn't keep the shot down. Coach Mack for Syracuse, the reigning ACC Coach of the Year's 14th season here in Syracuse. Led them to the treble, if you will, division title, ACC tournament title, and the national title, and the 2nd ACC team to do that. UNC did it back in 2011. Of course, this is the night that ACC season starts. We're finishing it up. We're your main dish, if you will, at the end. NC State just went final over BC, 2-0 win. UVA and Duke are battling right now. Duke's up 1-0. We'll keep you updated in that game, especially at halftime. We'll show you the highlights of that clash with Duke, a top 10 team. Little 1-2 play. Kalukian steps in front on his right foot. Goal! Just wide. This young man has been so close to scoring multiple times, but remains tantalizingly close.
He's a nightmare, and this is a guy who we talk about teams finding out what they're going to be. At this time last year, he wasn't involved in the conversation to be a starter. He was used sparingly as a wingback, but as the season went on, not only did he get into the team sheet, he's come in this year, and this is a captain. This is a guy that attacking-wise is going to play higher. He'll get involved in the midfield. He'll help stretch the game. He has been in brilliant form at the beginning of this season so far.
And welcome into SU Soccer Stadium. That's Nicholas Kalukian looking for an opportunity for the number 4 team in the nation to get on the board as Syracuse takes on Louisville alongside Devin Kerr. I'm Dallin Cuff. Congratulations to George Kiefer and NC State on getting their win. But what you're seeing now has only happened one other time in men's college soccer this year. A top 10 matchup to open up ACC play. Louisville was unranked in the preseason. They have 2 wins over ranked teams to get themselves to number 7. It's their best start since 1998 to be 4-0. Syracuse, of course, the defending national champs, 18 games unbeaten for this squad. Last time they lost was October 4th of last year. Devin, early on, catch up our audience. What have you seen from these two very highly talented teams?
It's a Syracuse team that they're comfortable. They're at home. They feel like they should be the dominating team, and they've certainly...
Which is basically the division championship, the ACC championship, and the NCAA tournament championship. Only UNC had done that previously in 2011. Jason Smith back in goal. He served his red card suspension for the red card in the draw against Penn State against Albany in a 1-0 win. Over the top opportunity brought down by Brandon McManus. Gage Guerra does it again! His 5th goal in his last 4 games. The transfer for Army, the ACC Offensive Player of the Week, cannot stop scoring.
They lacked this last year. They lacked the overall presence at a 9 spot, but watch how deep he is. This is the greatest thing about the addition to this squad. Yes, it's the talent by Gage Guerra, but it's his positioning overall. Notice that he's not trying to crash the run on the near post. He's already got that covered on the backside by Georgalitis, and even though he pulls out of it, it's a smart run by Guerra, who just drifts back to the top of the 18, allows the ball to come in front of him. 5 goals, 5 games, and the lead just outside 10 minutes.
What an impressive run that young man is on. 5 of the 11 goals that Louisville scored this year, all within the first 20 minutes. They had held their opponents scoreless for 331 minutes until Kentucky, their rival, scored in the second half of their last match. It was a 4-2 Louisville win. But can the home team answer right away? Kluge taken down. Matt Thompson, the center official, says get up. Excuse me, that was Baselli. Lorenzo Baselli goes down. Let's take a look.
It's certainly from behind. He's got the first touch here. The second one, oh, that's close. That's really close.
And they're back at it right away. And this time, Matt Thompson will point to the spot.
Well, the first one might have been questioned, but I'll tell you, if you're smart here, if you're Bryce LaBelle, you're going to get away with this if you don't raise the arm away from your body, because the positional move actually comes into you. The problem is Matt Thompson's angle. His arm is up and it's extended away from the body. So although maybe the contact would have been okay, the arm itself is really what gets him into a problem.
And Matt Thompson is going to take a look. This is a new rule this year that now, with the VAR capabilities and ACC conference play, it's one of 5 exploratory leagues doing this. The referee can take a look and confirm if it is in fact a penalty. In years past, the question was it in the box or not? You could look at that. This is different. This is the act, this is the foul. And Thompson, again, the USL Ref of the Year back in 2021, will give himself a think.
Well, good news is we're not wanting for action, are we, Dallin? I mean, again, twice in about a 30-second span question. And see, that angle's a bit softer in terms of what the contact is. I still go back to the arm. Because of the angle that Matt Thompson has, you can see him certainly move towards the player, and possibly it's a little bit light.
Matt Thompson is letting everyone know that the decision is confirmed. There will be a PK. And the question I asked you, Devin, too, is why? I mean, Bryce LaBelle is such a seasoned veteran, 52 games played, 52 starts. The senior has been there before. It seemed unnecessary given where they were at. And also the fact that he may have just gotten away with one 30 seconds before. Lorenzo Baselli to take. The senior from Italy. He's a big goal scorer. ACC semifinal last year. Game winner against Clemson in the ACC final. Could he equalize for the number 4 team in the nation as they went down early 1-0 at home? Alex Svetnov in between the post. Baselli handles it. 1-1. The top 10 clash starts fast and is delivering as one lit the lamp and then Syracuse answered.
It's a quality penalty. Just watch his hips open up at the tail end of things. He just steps right through it. If you're Alex Fetnoff, you're thinking that because of the way that he's planting on an angle, you're betting on him coming back across his body, and just well taken, stepping right through it into the bottom corner, an immediate reaction, and back to square one.
First PK goal of the season. Baselli's other 3 goals, ironically, for a guy that's not known for his head, are all off his head.
Don't tell him that.
And John Michael Hayden is looking for some explanation from William Abro, the 4th official. He's giving him an earful. Louisville looking to respond quickly. Levesque on the ball. Finds the feet of Edwards. Edwards moves time pass, connecting nicely. Can he continue his run? Really well done by Quentin Elliott to make that tackle. Sophomore from Ohio, Crew Academy product. Konstantinos Georgilidis, number 10 in Louisville, ushered out.
Dallin, just think about, by the way, we're just outside 13 minutes in, right? We've seen 4 separate instances where the attacks have come forward for Syracuse. Notice the tendency, all down the left-hand flank for Louisville. Now, I get it. The penalty is a little bit more centrally located, but it's still a diagonal heading that direction, and that's all because of Quentin Elliott willing to step high, willing to get involved possessionally in the run of play. There he is again, which, again, you can get away with, but you've got to have coverage. And right now, they're towing a real fine line. When he goes, they've got to make sure that they're shifting over on the back line. LaBelle, Tatafu, and Gardento coming all the way back over to flatten it out and provide coverage there.
Syracuse's response this year have been unbelievable. They went down 1-0 to Penn State in the dire embers of that match. And that man over the ball, Gabriel McKenna, scored a goal 6 seconds after they went down. Today they went down. 74 seconds later, they equalized. Georgilidis down the flank. Edwards tracking back, and Gavin Wigg will play it to Levesque. Devin, I know we've talked about the ACC pace being faster for the players. Apparently for the broadcasters too. This seems like this is on speed right now compared to the non-league games we've been watching.
Yeah, good thing we got our pregame coffee together, right? This is certainly different than what you and I have experienced so far this season. We haven't had the ACC versus ACC so far, but we have been to some good matchups. I mean, you and I are coming off Marshall Pitt, and that game can't touch the start to this match. The intensity's through the roof.
It really is. It is a different level. The crowd here is electric right now. They've built something special, that culture at SU Soccer Stadium. They've gotten into it, especially when you get the road team scoring first in the way in which both teams have competed and the talent on the field. It's been a great start early on. Looking for Nicholas Kalukian, transfer from Michigan. Trying to get on that right peg. Looking for the curler.
Better coverage on the backside, though, if he wanted to make the decision to try and find support here. There's the recovery we talk about. Quentin Elliott, again, this is a symphony, Dallin. You've got to find a way to make sure that your conductor has all the notes going in the right direction at the right time. And one of the great things about this Louisville team is the rotation and the quality of play. It can also be a detriment, but you can make that same argument here for Syracuse depending on what type of pressure they're bringing to the game. Now, it's quite linear right now, meaning it's man-on-man. It's one-on-one. They're not really varying what the look is, but that will change in time. You will see Blues come deeper. You'll see that back three start to shift. You just wonder as to whether or not Louisville recognizes it and if they can step into the space.
Giorgio Krzyzewski hauled down, the senior, third-team All-ACC last year. The quick restarts, Levesque on the ball. He pings it out wide. Jonah Leibold. Good ball played in, Sven off his line, though. Haul it in. Since that Louisville goal, Dev, they've been on their heels here.
I almost want them to slow it down a little bit, to be honest. Just take some of the air out of the game. We talk about how They like to move a bunch of different pieces out of their comfort zones and challenge guys positionally within their own makeup. So let them do that. Right now the emotion's running high. Get the opening lead. The reigning national champs have come back on equalize. Just slow the game down. Step on the ball. Let the ball do the work and make Syracuse chase a little bit.
Mason Tatafu to restart, the junior, transfer from Hofstra to CAA Rookie of the Year back in 21. Third team All-League player last year. That was Gaetano D'Argento, Bowling Green transfer, number 2, their right back. Elliott, second touch, nice. D'Argento. Back to Smetanoff. Turns into trouble. Leibold. He's a bulldog. Played well to Edwards. He's got options. To Leibold. Drug it wide. And really well done by David Bacuzzo to slide in and play it out.
And to be fair, though, Louisville had settled in. They just got themselves in trouble. There was a little giveaway within the midfield, and then you're back on your heels. Chasing once again. Would say defensively, much better recovery, though, and Smetanoff was there on the near post.
Played in. A lot of bodies there. Maybe a chance to counter here for Louisville. Well done by Levesque. Turned over. Georgalitis in acres of space. William Gunley comes over to defend him. He's got Edwards there to double. And he was going down the whole time. And rolls over. Oh, William Gunley's pass pulls Smith wide, but he's able to get there. The transfer from Utah Valley. Women's sports take over after action every Sunday right here on ACCM. And we start on noon Eastern with field hockey. Number 7 Syracuse hosts UConn. Then it's a soccer triple-header. Virginia Tech hosting number 20 Northwestern. Number 5 Florida State taking on their in-state rival Florida. And we cap the day with Wyoming and Louisville at 5:30 Eastern. Now we bring in Coach Mack. It's been an exciting 1-1. Coach, what do you make of it, and particularly the pace of this game right now?
Oh my goodness, we got a fun one, right? So it's even though it's a late night for us, I think we're all being entertained.
Coach, you anticipate the amount of opportunities you had on the right-hand flank to continue, given the fact that Quentin Elliott really hasn't tracked back as much as maybe he should?
I think, look, in transition, it's just opening up, and I think both teams are creating in moments like this. This is where we've got to be careful both sides. So, yeah, I also think it's Giorgio Kuchevsky both ways. He's given a ball away a few times, but he's overloading and really making life difficult on this side for him.
Thank you, Coach Mack. We appreciate your time.
Thanks, guys.
Really appreciate him giving us 60 seconds in this game, because you could. we've seen 2 goals in 74 seconds.
He's going to jump on the mic again in game. Notice how the ball goes down into the corner. He jumped off. He saw play coming through.
Levesque on it, head up, over to Edwards. Tries to play Baselli, or Kuchevsky, excuse me. Levesque. Edwards, he goes down. Matt Thompson says get up. Saunders Rowe, not said his name much. Their midfield magician. And there's a matchup you talked about, Devin. Ballou's right there on road.
Well, they're just very deep right now, Louisville, and even when they are winning back some of these possessional battles, notice that Saunders Rowe's trying to find link-up play, and Gage Garrett, he's either come back to defend or he's rotated to the far side. They haven't been able to get either one of the wingers in Jorgalitis or Brandon McManus involved either. It's just something where sometimes you got to battle, and the game isn't going to give you that much, and you got to find a way to fight through those uncomfortable situations. And right now, the two boys in the Louisville midfield, specifically Bakuzo and Sonderode, they're having a little trouble getting into this rhythm.
And D'Argento does not like the call, the junior from Wayne, Illinois.
Oh, I'm with him. That's not a bad tackle. There's not a ton of contact. He certainly wins the ball on the backside of it too. The one issue you're going to have is with that extension, Dallin, is the studs up. It's a dangerous play with his studs up straight into him that gets him into trouble.
I totally agree. I think that's probably what Matt Thompson saw there, and there's the clearest thing on the replay. It wasn't much the contact, it was those studs up. Usually a pretty telltale sign. Levesque to serve the ball in. Syracuse has been dangerous on set pieces. Leibold makes the run to the left. Svetnov right to his hands. Road. Gavin Wigg wins the challenge. Nice flick on from Krzyzewski to Belouz to maintain possession. Sees Edwards making that run. Baselli, pocket of space. Leibold deflects out. Oh, Ricky kept it alive. Appeals for handball from the fans. Opportunity though. Svetnov saves it on Krzyzewski. Looking to score his first goal of the campaign.
Did this come up off the hand right there? Oh, took a little touch, but lets him play on, and on that little shift back over. Once again, that deep trailing pocket, just in front of the back line, it's opening up. But a great save by Alex Svetnov. That guy, I watched him light it up in the USL Academy playoffs back in 2021. Golden Glove winner for good reason.
Krzyzewski to take. Headed down. Edwards tries to run it down, and Brandon McManus wins. Unclear here what's going on, if there was called a simple throw or what's happening here. Coach Mack wants a foul, but he's not going to get it. Matt Thompson is going to say we're just going to go for a throw. Oh no, we are got a foul. There you go. Okay. Kuzo. Jorgalitis. Road, you see putting his hands out, trying to get guys just to relax and to hold the ball for a second.
We've also switched sides here too. Sonderode, early on this season and last year, he primarily operated on that right-hand flank, but with the flip-flop, Bakuzo coming to the right in front of Bradley Sample and Road to the left just hasn't necessarily worked tonight. I do like the idea of getting more bodies down underneath. Watch Brandon McManus just on the ball. They've done it with Sonderode. That all comes down, though, to Gage Guerra willing to come in and do some work centrally. Then they can get four guys boxed in the midfield, Dallin. That makes the midfield three of Syracuse have to chase a bit more.
Is that something Gage Guerra likes to do? Is he comfortable in that role?
Yeah, that's one of my favorite things about this team and about him as well, because last year, you throw the formation out, 4-3-3. Everybody just kind of stood where it was. Now, certainly 25 yards and in attacking-wise, you would see them vary a little bit. But now, whether they're 20 from their own goal or from their opposition's, they give you a lot of different looks. So Gage Guerra coming in, he can become that attacking midfielder and create a diamond to play off of because the outside backs provide width. He'll be the focal point as the high point in the 9, and he can also venture out into the wide areas. So his versatility has really given this team a lot of different looks, and certainly 4 games in, a ton of success.
Guerra couldn't maintain possession. Back to the feet of Jason Smith there. And welcome to SU Soccer Stadium. 1-1 between Number 7 ranked team in the nation, Louisville, taking on number 4 Syracuse. Both teams unbeaten. Louisville preseason unranked to number 7 after 2 ranked W's alongside Devin Kerr. I'm Dallin Cuff. There were 2 goals in the span of 74 seconds, and we'll have another right here. Back pass, and Svetnov's able to get rid of it. Gage Guerra, the leading scorer for Louisville, now scores his 5th goal of the campaign. But then Lorenzo Baselli equalized through the penalty spot just 74 seconds later in gameplay. Chesky takes a shot that may have been a pass, bit of a shass. Devin, what have you made of this game so far? We've talked about the pace. If you're just tuning in now, what would you tell the audience we've seen in the last 25 minutes?
Well, Christmas has come early. You've gotten everything that you've wanted in terms of goals, transitional movements, certainly high pressure from Syracuse, but with some of these changes within the midfield for Louisville, we saw for about 2 minutes in the first 10, but then they faded. They've now changed again. You address the fact that within the midfield, they've gotten some dominance going, more players on the ball. This is what they're going to need to do at this point in time to get back in the game, slow it down, and make Syracuse chase. Only minimal success with them so far.
Levac trying to combine with Chesky there. Levac. UConn transfer. Oh, pretty 1-2. Oh, looking for the return ball. That would have been a beauty. McKenna controls it easily. Baselli, the goal scorer, on it. Louisville's going to make a couple subs, and we saw this in the game against Kentucky. And these 2 guys can definitely change it. Number 18, Ethan Subachan, the freshman from Florida, part of Orlando City SC setup. He's had a great career as pro reps already in terms of MLS Next. They won that championship, USL, US U19 national team call-ups, and that is Damian Barker John, the sophomore from Queens. Very talented player. These guys both can come on and make a difference.
I would say the one biggest change from what they were able to do in the Kentucky game compared to this game is that Kentucky game, they were the aggressor. When your team feels like they've got a ton of shots, a ton of the ball, it's easy to come in and express yourself. When you're chasing the match and you've been pinned deep, it's a little bit more difficult.
To that point, Louisville had 2 shots in the first 11 minutes. 1 was a goal. They've had 0 shots since and haven't really threatened. And in that Kentucky game, they were at one point, they were 10 shots to 0 in the first half. Ended up being 26-9. They really owned their rival in an impressive showing, the number 9 team in the nation, the Wildcats. ACC men's soccer season underway today. Congratulations to George Kiefer at NC State. 2-0 win over BC. As Mason Tatafu puts that out to a corner. Duke and Virginia playing right now as well. We'll have the full highlights for you at halftime. Duke up 2-0. Virginia Tech and North Carolina tied at 0 right now. Both those in the second half. Mateo Leveque strides forward again. The Syracuse team leads the nation in corners per game, 8 a game. They've scored now 8 goals on the season. 3 of them are from corner kicks. Leveque to take. Had a head on it. It looked like it was McKenna. Couldn't keep it down.
They've certainly got the height on the back line, and they allow them from the set piece opportunities to come up high, whether it's Olagunye at 6'3". You've got Gavin Wigg at 6'3", and then Gabriel McKenna at 6'1". I'd throw Josh Balluz in there as well. Just a reminder that he's kind of towering over everyone at 6'6". They're so good at just attacking from any which way when they get a chance from the corner, because you're tracking trees. I mean, truly, it's one of the more difficult things to do as a defender. Tracking players is one thing, but the big bodies, when they can rotate off of each other, it's a very different argument.
Good distribution by Svetnov to find Subachan after some pressure from the Orange. Bradley Sample checking his shoulder. Stalwart in the midfield for this team. 74th game he's played for Louisville, the 5th-year player. Loses possession there and hits the foul. Jason Smith giving his team and all of us a breather here for a few seconds. Keena picks it off. And yes, the near side official, Democritus Pashdalis, excuse me, will wave his flag, and this will give Syracuse to serve the box. Devin, a play like that though too, Georgalides takes him out. It was almost reminiscent of the penalty. It didn't seem like it was necessary to make that play.
There's no reason to step into it, and to be fair, McKenna recognizes that the pressure's coming because it's not the best of balls that he slips through. Certainly no one's going to get on the end of it, and yet he knows that the body's over, so he slows up into Georgalides. But you're spot on. There's no reason for Georgalides on the tail end of that to continue forth and allow Syracuse another dangerous opportunity from a set-piece situation.
Chesky over it. And Matt Thompson explaining his viewpoint to John Michael Hayden, the fifth-year coach from Louisville. And now backing up Georgalides so he can get the magic spray on the turf. Georgalides, the sophomore from Cyprus. A very good first season in Louisville. Tied for second in that squad with 4 goals, and now here we go. Whipped in nicely, and actually called a foul on Lukian before he was able to try to get his head to it.
He has to go down and get this thing. It's a really good ball by Krzyzewski coming back into the midfield, but just a little bit low, and the way he wants to attack it, Lukian, he's got to extend his arms. It's a bit of pressure. Well marked, though, by Louisville, to be fair. Everybody one-on-one situation. You had the direction by Svetnov in goal. There was the little bit of a two-man just on the front of that being whipped in. Again, we said that there have been a couple of spells, mind you, not for an elongated period of time for Louisville within this match, but a couple instances where even though Syracuse have certainly been the dominant team, Louisville have stepped on it and worked it side to side quite nicely. Would love to see them maintain that confidence and get back on the ball more.
Svetnov, the sophomore from Indiana. He's been part of the Indy 11 crew, the USL setup there. That championship 3 different times. Very seasoned keeper in terms of those ranks. Rode able to win the second ball, looking for Georgalides, who rides the Edwards challenge. Heavy touch. Gaetano goes in again. And Matt Thompson says that play advantage. He's giving him a chance to play on. We'll see if he pulls it back and does anything about that. Baselli, the goal scorer on it. And the Orange still has a player down, but they are still played on, and now it looks like could be another foul. At some point, Matt Thompson has to stop this so Krzyzewski can get some attention, because that looked like a violent challenge.
Yeah, I was with you. This looked to be a very bad tackle that came all the way back through. It's actually right here. Watch the studs. Oh, dear, that is, I'm telling you right now, that is bad. That is as bad as you can be. Very, very lucky to not step off the field to play in this situation.
And Matt Thompson is going into his book, but I believe it's just a yellow. And Krzyzewski, that was a violent tackle by D'Argento. And the first one was a tough tackle, but they said it was fair. The second one was a lot, to say the least.
Well, I've been sent off for less, I can tell you that much.
Here comes the center back, everybody. Stay ready.
Well, I mean, you're with me, though. I mean, to be fair, he's trying to make a move on the ball. I don't blame Gaetano D'Argento here. I would have stood up and immediately tried to get a secondary tackle in. The problem is you're away from the body, studs up the entire way. You make contact with the player. It's not negligent like he's going after him to hurt him, but it's still a very bad tackle that could hurt somebody.
And what we've seen already in the match was one of the exploratory rule changes in terms of VAR already in this match, where a penalty was reviewed. Matt Thompson called on the field, and then he went and confirmed there was a penalty. You can do that this year in ACC league games in 4 other leagues around the country. Another one, you could determine if a red card given was the correct decision. The thing there, though, has to be you have to issue the red first to review it. You cannot issue a yellow and then go review it in upgrade. So the yellow is what was issued by D'Argento, and as of right now, that will stand. And at this point, Syracuse make a couple subs. Felipe D'Agostini comes in, the grad transfer from Oral Roberts. Very talented Brazilian, got a lot of flair to his game. And Lorenzo Baselli checks out, the goal scorer in the match. And Noah Singleman comes in for Jonah Leibold. Noah making his second appearance on the season. Second-year team captain from Germany. He's dealing with an injury. He's coming back and getting himself healthy. Logged 30 minutes last game in the 1-0 win against Albany. Looking to get up on the wing and be an effective player like he has been throughout his career. A lot of pressure here, maybe a turnover. Yes, it is. Falls to Levesque. There it is. From down 1 to up 1 in just over 20 minutes. Mateo Levesque, his first goal in an Orange Uni, is a big one.
Pressure, intensity, and how quickly you can apply it. This is incredible on the press by Syracuse. There's your matchup right there. Josh Blues, Sander Road, welcome to ACC Josh Blues. This is perfection by the holding midfielder that then allows all the pressure. Ball pops out, bottom corner, Mateo Levesque. Usually class and the distributor off the ball, now on it, and the lead for Syracuse.
And it was great pressure, and then Krzyzewski with an outstanding, very simple ball, but played right into the feet of Levesque, who capitalizes. And this is the first time Louisville has trailed all year. They started the campaign going 331 scoreless minutes. It wasn't until the second half against Kentucky where they conceded. In a match, ultimately, they won 4-2. So now how does Louisville respond? On the road against the defending national champs, where they've just been bit back.
I'll tell you what, though, Dallin. Think about what Ian McIntyre, the head coach of Syracuse, said the entire time. He wanted his team to feel uncomfortable positionally. He wanted them to understand, trust the guy next to you. Even when you felt like you're not supposed to go ahead and trust those behind you. Josh Blues is usually playing 5 or 10 yards in front of his back line. Instead, he's 15 yards away from the goalkeeper to spring the goal. Same situation here. Understand that, I get it. He gets himself into trouble, but that's a guy who primarily operates on either side of that center circle. He's coming out of the comfort zone. He's getting stuck into the tackle. He gets a yellow card for his efforts on this one. But if not for the press and trusting his coach feeling uncomfortable, Syracuse would not have their lead.
So Blues goes into the book, though. Your central defensive midfielder carrying a yellow. Not exactly what you want, but that's where he's at. Since Louisville scored, this has been a bit of one-way traffic. You think that's fair to say, Devin?
Yeah, for the most part. I mean, I would also go to the idea that Louisville's just trying to find a way to get any sort of rhythm within the game on a consistent basis, because, you know, those windows that they've operated through, correct me if I'm wrong, Dallin, we're probably talking 90, 120 seconds where they felt comfortable and then they fade again. To maintain that energy when you just can't constantly getting punched on the road is a very difficult thing to do. John Michael Hayden right now, 10 minutes to go. Yeah, they've got a chance to get in this, but I'm sure he wants to get his team in the dressing room and settle them down.
And Javi Wences just checks in. Mexico City native, transfer from USC upstate. Comes in for Sander Rode, first team all ACC player, taking a little bit of time on the bench. His turnover led to that second goal for the Orange. D'Agostini, first time ball looking wide. Played quickly, could be an opportunity. Kalukian on it. Still Kalukian. Plays it back to Levesque. Wants to get on that left peg, it's his favorite spot. Out to Oyagunle. One, two. In the box, shot saves Svetnov on the doorstep. Another chance. And deflected out for a corner. Levesque was looking for the brace.
Give Svetnov some credit here. Watch him go big on the near post and then the immediate recovery. To be fair, he's got the defensive help in front of him and Mason Tatafu, but the ability to have the actual defenders there. Now, Syracuse definitely breaks them down, but the structure was in place to not allow a second or third opportunity to get itself off.
Levesque to take. Frenchman born in Nice, part of the Nice Academy as well. Top division Ligue 1 in France. Doesn't beat the first defender, but yet another corner. And Syracuse leads the nation in corners taken coming into this game, 32, 8 per match. They've already at 6 right now. And they have been effective this year. 3 goals off those corners, and you see subcolonel Daniel Diaz-Bonilla comes in, the transfer from Princeton, the grad transfer. Honorable mention last year, second team all Ivy the year prior. And Axel Alejandre enters the match. UNC transfer, doesn't get a lot of minutes, but interesting. Back service doesn't get past the post. D'Agostini tries to flick it back to him. And David Bacuzzo made way for Axel Alejandre. Deflected ball, looking to bring it down. It's D'Agostini showing you a little bit of that Brazilian Jogo Bonito. Keenan looking back post. And Diaz-Bonilla was arriving late.
Dallin, notice the subs for Louisville. I mean, honestly, we get the fact that they haven't been able to produce much in the final third, but with just inside 10 minutes to go, John Michael Hayden has taken 4 out of the 5 off of that front line. This is an extended teaching moment for him because you get the guys on the sideline. You want to have the conversation about what's going wrong, but you also want to take a look at on the field and be able to convey that to them in real time. So when you step into the dressing room, you can get everybody on the same page. You're not drawing from just a blackboard or still pictures or video. They can see it firsthand with their own eyes.
Krzyzewski flips up to D'Agostini. Blues on that yellow, had to pull out of the challenge. Could be an opportunity. Barker John slips, gets up, still possesses the ball. And not sure what the thought was there from Mason Tatufu. Small break in the action. What a week of ACC football we have in week 2. Great lineup. Starts Saturday with Wake Forest hosting Vanderbilt, a very much improved SEC team at 11 a.m. Eastern. It continues through number 4, Florida State, hosting Southern Miss at 8:30 Eastern. Every game is also available on the ESPN app, so you can watch anywhere. Florida State coming off most impressive win, maybe. Opportunity here for D'Agostini. Well done by Svetnov to come off and head it off the line. Tried to catch him out. Or out of the box, I should say.
Heard footsteps, too. I've been there before. You do not want to walk in front of the path of a goalkeeper who's coming that far out. That's a big body.
Barker John charging forward, still Barker John. He loses it. Will Louisville try to counter quickly to Kalukian? He's on it. Bryce LaBelle on him. Kalukian rides it, goes down, looking for the challenge. Matt Thompson says nothing. And Kalukian remains down on the pitch, but back come the Cards. Makina, well done, puts his body in front. And a little extracurricular after the fact with Belouz and Javi Wences. Kalukian still down. SU crowd coming to life here. D'Agostini brings it under his spell, lays it off for Diaz Bonilla. Argento well defended there. Way by Tatufu. Ball turned over again in a dangerous spot. Kalukian lays it off to Levesque. He's got one. Does he have two? Almost.
And Noah Singleman irate that he doesn't continue the run over the right shoulder, but I don't blame him. You got this type of confidence. This is a negative touch, meaning you bring it back against the grain, but watch how the space opens back up. He gets it onto the favored left foot. He's got the window. It's just the way that he's moving away to then try and bring enough English back across it. Just gets underneath it a little bit, which is why it drifts up top.
Michael Susky comes in, the transfer from Boston College. He replaces that man, Nicholas Kalukian. And also we saw Jackson Glenn come in, the senior from Maryland. Check it in for Belouz, 23 in the middle of the pitch. Both teams played midweek games. Not easy to keep up the pace of this game coming off just 3 days rest. Louisville played Tuesday. Syracuse played Monday. Louisville 4-2 winners. Albany suffered the loss to Syracuse 1-0.
In the half. 1 minute remaining.
Ball finally gets on the deck, and Subachan was trying to find Georgalitis. Singleman plays the channel for Susky. Nothing doing. Bell in some trouble. Subachan, late slide in there. As the clock ticks down, pace considerably slower the last few seconds. Devin, your thoughts on a very fun first half?
Yeah, that was an incredible start to the match for Louisville, and you know what? Credit to Syracuse and the reigning national champions for their recovery, because this game could have easily gotten away from them. They asserted their dominance, they pressed, they got themselves high, picked their moments, and they fought valiantly back into this match to have the lead 2-1 at halftime.
Gage Guerra continued his scoring form, put Louisville up in the 11th minute. Lorenzo Baselli equalized just 74 seconds later from the penalty spot. And then Mateo Levesque broke the deadlock in the 33rd minute to give the reigning national champs a 2-1 lead going into halftime. Both these teams unbeaten on the year. Louisville has their best start since 1998, 4-0 on the line. Syracuse, 18 games unbeaten. Last time they lost a game was to Cornell last October. We're now joined by Louisville head coach John Michael Hayden. Coach, thank you so much for your time. From a neutral standpoint, that was a very entertaining first half. You guys were up 1, you're now down 1. What did you make of the first 45?
We're not dealing with their pressure at all right now, and that's how Syracuse plays. They want to be the aggressor. They want to put you under a lot of pressure. Our guys aren't handling it right now, and we got some things to sort out here.
Coach, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it.
Yep.
Well, John Michael Hayden did tell us before the match, handling that pressure would be key. They have not done it, as he just mentioned, and it gave away a goal that broke the deadlock. Outstanding first half. When we come back, we'll take a look at some of the key players in the ACC that have helped some of the teams that are in the top 25 next. Refereeing help. I don't know if that's going to help you, my man, but that's good work there. He's trying to work the officials. Sander Road, a first-team All-League player, has not been himself so far in this match. It's more of a credit to how good UConn and particularly Josh Balouse has been in terms of taking him out of the game. Ready to restart and see if Louisville can start the way they did to open this match. Damian Barker-John, 11 white starts in the second half, came off the bench, as does that's Noah Singleman. Once the foul, doesn't get it. Singleman, good to see him back out in the field, the senior. Two-time now Syracuse captain, was dealing with an injury, made his season debut in the last outing. This could be trouble. Wow. Quentin Elliott able to just get that off the foot of Nate Edwards. I heard John Michael Hayden say he did not feel like they were handling the pressure well. That is not the start you're looking for.
Go forward!
Baselli scored from the penalty spot, flipped it forward there. Baselli on it again. He said he was cleaned out, and Matt Thompson agrees. Bradley Sample upset, and he may get a talking to, maybe more. Sample, the grad student, stalwart in that midfield, 74th appearance for Louisville in his career, 5-year career at Louisville, 69th start. And now we got a Louisville player down, too. That is Elliott. Sophomore from West Virginia.
He's still laboring from the tackle that was just a few seconds prior. Talk about the intensity. There's a variety of ways to alleviate that, Dallin. Number one, you just match it, right? You bring every single portion of your game up to another notch. The other side is energy can get you there if the overall quality of play isn't willing to reciprocate itself. And then sometimes when your energy is lacking, you don't necessarily have to run a million miles an hour all over the pitch. That goes back to my conversation in the first half of a little bit more of the ball doing the work, right? Clean touches, move it side to side, just like they're doing right there. Try and play through these small seams and reassert yourself back into this game.
That's Louisville. Let's focus on the Orange right now, 2-1. I mean, what do they have to do to try to kill off this game? Good job by D'Agostini.
Yeah, they're doing it right now. They're chasing the game. They are all hands on deck, as much pressure as possible, because this venue is a very difficult place to play. The 18-game unbeaten streak is on the line. Friendly reminder for people that don't necessarily know everything that is Syracuse, these are the reigning national champions, and they have not lost in 11 months' time. They talk about a bullseye being on their back and wanting to learn about themselves this season, being a different team. Understand that a little bit of that is just posturing. They know exactly what's at stake. They don't want to be the team to lose and blemish that record.
Almost got that through to potentially help blemish that record to Sonder Road. But Josh Ballew's there again to cut out the pass. The transfer from Villanova has been impactful, to say the least, in that defensive midfield role in every game, particularly in this game against another ACC all-level league player in Sonder Road. Toronto native, Villanova transfer, as I mentioned, started 51 of his 50 games there at Nova. He's now 4 for 4 here, and I don't expect him losing his spot anytime soon. That's Josh Jones checking in as center back, making his run forward, too. Big number's 15 in the middle. 16, excuse me. As he came forward now, maybe a chance to counter. Oh, a lot of contact there. Kalukian down hard. Advantage is played because Edwards is wide open. Cuts it back, working, trying to get the shot off. He does! Just wide. And they're saying a deflection out for a corner. And I believe Kalukian is still down, and Matt Thompson will go check on him.
I like the little pump fake here. It is good defending, to be fair, because if you watch Guy D'Argento, he doesn't dive in and just stands tall, but that is another tackle. Very surprised that we haven't seen referee come back in this situation. Studs up once again, but nice 1v1 play on the outside by Nathaniel Edwards, and I do like the defending by D'Argento.
8th corner of the match. That is their average. That is the best in the nation. Kacheski to take. Out swinging ball. Ballew's falls right to Kalukian. He couldn't control it. And they're going to say there was a foul on him anyway. Believe so.
He's surprised that this falls to him, Dallin, because of the header by Ballew's. Saw one earlier. Stick that into the bottom corner for Josh Ballew's, and the touch just not as clean as Kalukian would like. To be fair, good recovery, but Alex Svetnov had already sniffed it out.
Blues did score off his head in their win over Binghamton, 3-0 early in the year. Again, he stands at 6'6". He is a big yet agile young man.
He seems bigger than that when you stand next to him. And he's height certainly, but just all muscle, and you know, the ground that he covers, beyond impressive. You watch his body just always set up to make sure that he can make a play any which way.
Kalukian working on Josh Jones, and Jones wins that battle. He's one of their better center backs, 6'5", but he's been dealing with injuries. Gets the start in the second half. He's actually scored the last 2 Syracuse games from that center back spot on dead balls. Here's Nate Edwards on it. Good ball. Good idea, not the execution, as Noah Single will make sure to give him a little applause.
They would love to get Josh Jones going within this game. He was almost unplayable towards the latter portion of last season. John Michael Hayden, a lot of praise for his center back. That, you know, you look at the guys down within this team, as well as they've played to start the year. 4-0-0, 2 ranked wins already against Tulsa and most recently against Kentucky. They're doing it without their starting goalkeeper and Ryan Troutman. They were doing it without their starting center back, although back recently, in Josh Jones. And then, friendly reminder, they're also missing their outside right back in Philip Fred, although Argento, the transfer, has stepped in nicely. Gives you an idea of the depth that they've been able to acquire over the past couple of months.
Al Kalukian kept that in play, but yeah, winning without some of the guys that they would have thought would have been starters before the season. But the talent they have, and they went out in the transfer portal, are all replaced by different transfers. Troutman was their supposed #1 in goal. Josh Jones working his way back in. Fred Hall, different story, the defender. Sophomore, played in every game, all 18 matches last year. And Not so they haven't missed a beat. Jones' ability and his leadership as well, but they've got a lot of depth on this squad, and it's been tested early this year. As McKeena's dispossessed, this could be an opportunity. Rhodes got his head up, trying to play to McManus, and Gunlay's on his horse. Well done by Gunlay. McManus said he was holding his jersey. Oh, what a flick. Here we go the other way. Baselli tried the reverse pass, and Kacheski, can he get there? He can't, because Jones got a piece of it first. Alex Svetnov chose to play that quickly, and trouble could still be on for Syracuse. Body's going down everywhere right now. Argento struggling. Cuso crowded out there. Gavin Wigg, haven't had to say his name much. Gage Guerra gives chase. He is their goal scorer in the 11th minute, opened the scoring in this match. He's been quiet ever since. McKeena to Balouz.
Don't be knocking on my center back brethren. You know it's a good night when we're not calling their names.
Who's knocking? They're doing a great job.
That is incredible. How
It's like a goalkeeper union. The center back late, like the Teamsters. Garrett drags down Wigg.
Well, they're in a similar situation as last year, though, Syracuse, where Olagunle certainly was on that championship-winning team, but you've got this man right here, and Gavin Wigg, who has come over from Western Michigan. Gabriel McKeena. And the transfer from Niagara. They chased 4 or 5 deep last year. They're doing the same this year, but they have gotten good leadership quality out of Gabriel McKeena. He has been the constant up top there on those outside back 3.
D'Agostini. And gets another corner. Grad transfer D'Agostini from Oral Roberts, product of Brazil, Porto Alegre. Very talented young man. Was the Offensive Player of the Year last year in the Summit League for Oral Roberts. Ninth corner of the match for Cuse. Look to add to their lead. Swinging ball, they had options back there. Let's talk about some football. Tomorrow morning, special time, 10 a.m. Eastern. The ACC Huddle crew will get you set for another full day of college football. They'll also have halftime shows and pre- and post-game shows throughout the day. And after the final game of the night between Southern Miss and number 4 Florida State, they'll have a complete wrap-up of the whole day with highlights, analysis, interviews right here on ACC Network and the ESPN app. Jones finds the feet of Damian Barker-John. Man is trying to flick it onto him. He does get there. Got those quick feet. Guerra crowded out. D'Agostini flips it up cleverly. What a touch by Baselli. The Brazilian to the Italian to Kalukian. He cuts back on that favored right foot, but can't get much purchase on it.
Touch just gets away from him, but watch the defending, by the way. We were just talking about Josh Jones. Doesn't hit the panic button. Long strides, recognizes that run back in, and that slight hesitation. Not only does it allow him to slow himself up, but defensively, it allows that little recovery run from Bradley Sample to close down the angle and make sure that he's not able to get good contact on Alex Svetnov in goal.
Kalukian struggling after trying to get that shot off. Receiving some attention. Sophomore from New Jersey. Transfer from Michigan. He was unanimous all-freshman team in the Big Ten. can see flashes of it time to time. He's yet to score here, but he is dangerous. And hopefully he's all right and can get back in the match. Mateo Levesque. Let's take a look again.
It's not a massive amount, is it? Just you can tell that certainly coming up layman. It does give you an idea of the identity in comparison to what was the 22 national title winning squad of Syracuse. They had 2 All-Americans, Levante Johnson and Nathaniel Opoku. This is more trial by fire. They've spread the wealth and figured out a way to kind of recreate it with a bunch of different goal scorers, although 8 through 4 games last year, 6 through 4 games this year. It's more so positionally where those goals are coming from as opposed to the overall number of players.
And you see Kaluki now, Mateo Levesque, who scored the second goal in the match. Currently the game-winning goal in the 33rd minute, checks in. Guerra trying to turn. He's got a lot of space. Finds Rode. Rode plays an early ball. Defended well. Brought down by Elliott. He gets the shot off. The first shot they've been able to take since the 11-minute mark. And Jason Smith equal to the task.
This is what he brings you, though. Look at the quality in such a tight-knit space, Allen, with the touch. Wins the first one. Second, he's got the wherewithal to just allow the ball to progress right in front of them. And there's certainly pressure on the backside of Quentin Elliott. But that advanced position is something that they're so comfortable with and would love to get more frequently for Louisville.
Play back to Jones. Gavin Wiggle let it usher out. Pace of this game has considerably slowed. It was not realistic we'd keep up what happened in the first 30 minutes. Svetnov distribute, and this goes out to touch. Olya Gunlay has the ball. And Devin, as you were mentioning before, the different options in the back line, we didn't mention that you can get to Pablo Pedrogosa, transfer from NC State. He played 66 games as a part of a team in this conference. He knows exactly what it's about. He's factored pretty well early in this year, but a lot of rotation with Booster Hoberg as well. Ball clipped in, looking for Edwards in the back post, out.
Well, if you remember,
Goal for choice on the back and the front right now.
Yeah, we were talking to Coach about what this would look like, and Olya Gunlay on the back line, he's got a lot of speed, and a game that you would imagine being at home, Syracuse is going to chase up high pressure. That means you need that recovery speed coming back. That's exactly how it's played itself out. So for Pedrogosa, a bit more of a ball carrier and distributor, though I'm sure they're going to chase his services at this point in time. It's been the perfect selection for Ian McIntyre.
Jonah Leibald comes back in for Noah Singleman, or they're still trying to work back into full health. Damian Barker-John made way for Bryce LaBelle, a center back for an attacker. I'll ask you in a second, Devin, what do you make that change? But Jonah Leibold somehow reaches the feet. Oh, D'Agostini, and Leibold didn't slip. That could have been a chance. The turf monster just got him.
Let's see as to whether or not with that departure, they decide that they want to chase a back three system. Interesting because they haven't dealt with that so far this season. They've operated out of a 4, but with Josh Jones, Bryce LaBelle, and Mason Tatafu, that gives you the ability on the width of the field to get higher up. So it's kind of a two-part situation where you get wider, but you also create more space on the interior to get guys like Sonder Rode on the ball more frequently.
In fact, he megged him, but D'Agostini did, but Levesque couldn't get there in time, defended well. McKenna charging forward. Whoa, finds the feet of Giagostini, and he sailed it! Oh, he's gonna want that one back.
He's already leaning when this drops into him. Wide open, just in between that pocket of the two center backs, and even though he's able to bring it down, notice his posture. He's already leaning back and trying to come back across it. Acreage of space there for D'Agostini. That's the other thing, is now all of a sudden we've seen so many runners advance for Syracuse, and with these three center back system, you're going to allow Quentin Elliott and D'Argento to push higher, but that's also, you've got to figure out exactly where all the rotation is come from, and that's also a 3v2 up top for Louisville. You've got Gunley, Wig, and McKenna matched up against what should be Gage Guerra and Brandon McManus, depending on what direction they're attacking from.
And the bell sends it out. Now 1-2, but went out touch first. Crossed under 30 minutes here from Syracuse, SU Soccer Stadium, alongside Devin Kerr. I'm Dallin Cuff. The defending national champs, the 4th-ranked team of the nation, the Syracuse Orange, went down to the 7th-ranked Louisville Cardinals behind a Gage Guerra goal in the 11th minute. But then Lorenzo Baselli equalized 74 seconds later through the penalty spot, and Mateo Levesque broke the deadlock in the 33rd minute. We still stand at the same place. This is the only second top 10 matchup in the nation this year in men's soccer on the first night of the ACC campaign. We saw Duke beat UVA 2-0. We saw NC State beat BC 2-0. Virginia Tech currently up on North Carolina, who are in a weather delay, as Baselli takes the challenge. Devin, what have you made of the second half? The first half was flowing and eventful, to say the least. What have you made of the second?
A little surprised that, to be honest, that we haven't seen Louisville on the ball more. You know, credit to Syracuse and everything that they've brought, but there's a level of quality that, although John Michael Hayden feels like his team hasn't gotten there yet, we've certainly seen high quality this season so far against some good opponents. Most recently, Kentucky. I would imagine that with this tactical change, you're going to see a bit more of that, because Syracuse seems that they're comfortable with their energy levels, that they're not going to step off. And also, Dallin, with 28 minutes to go, Syracuse has been the better team. They've had the most opportunities. This is still a one-goal game. This is 2-1, and they're for the taking. Louisville are right there in it, as rough as a match as it's been for them to chase. One moment, and they're back in this game.
And we'll see if it's Guerra going in the book for dissent or Oyagunle. And Oyagunle fouled him for kind of egregiously and obviously just pushed him in the back. Didn't need to do that. And it is on Oyagunle. And it is on Oyagunle, the yellow card. Gives Sonder Road, who's so dangerous with the dead ball set pieces, 14 assists. He's tied for 10th all time in Louisville history. With the helpers, he was 2nd in the conference last year with 8, just behind Filip Mirkovic from Pitt. And now he'll have a chance to serve the box. And remember, Josh Jones, big number 16, he's scored the last 2 years. Scored a goal in each match against Syracuse. And there he goes, running toward the near post. Punched by Smith, but not clear, and then not be able to be corralled by McManus.
Watch Josh Jones, by the way, to your point. He's chasing this, just a little nudge of love on the backside by Josh Balluz to take him to the ground. Wonder how much was in that. Certainly not the best of touches. It seems like over the course of the night, Dallin, regardless of what tactics have been at play, Louisville players just shaking up a little bit. Anytime it feels like maybe Lady Luck has presented itself with an opportunity, they haven't been able to take advantage of it, because it's that touch, that pass, that mark, everything, just the finite of moments escaping them.
And Esteban Subachan just checked in. But to your point, Dev, they're going to feel, if you're a Cardinals fan watching the game, you're going to feel hard done by that penalty call in the first half. To that end, this is the first time we've seen this on air so far with the ACC exploratory rules. Matt Thompson, the official, was able to go back and look at it on video review and confirmed his own call. So they may not like it, but that was the decision by Thompson, not once but twice.
Well, they got it right. Again, I would still say that if he didn't have his arm away from his body, Bryce LaBelle, you're probably not seeing Matt Thompson point to the penalty mark, but because he does extend away, he made it easier decision-wise.
Subachan in space, and whoa, Smith has to push it over the bar. Freshman from Orlando challenging the transfer from Utah Valley.
With this tactical change, by the way, he's going to feel very comfortable, Ethan Subachan, the MLS Next Pro player with Orlando City's academy coming up. They played in this very transitional 3-4-2-1, guys playing in 2-10s underneath a single striker. And while they're operating with two right now, it's that space just in front of the back line, the ebbs and flows of everything behind him that's going to make him feel comfortable in the final 30 yards.
This change helped Louisville get on the front foot. Another chance to serve a ball in the box. And Sonder Road. Jones was there. Cleared out, though. And Bacuzzo just tried to pop it back in, but this may be a transition opportunity the other way. Good touch by D'Agostini. Played forward off the line is Svetnov, and he wins the race.
Surprised a little bit on that counter. They didn't try and go back post. And again, same argument, right? Quentin Elliott on the back post run, the touch through, and can't believe himself that he wasn't able to get a clean touch on it.
Big boat, big boat.
Gorgalitas tried the little reverse pass. Didn't come off. Big phases have changed in this game. Louisville owned the very first part of the game. 2 shots, 11 minutes. It took them 47 minutes to get their next shot. Syracuse scored 2 goals and had many other chances in that time, but momentum seems to be turning a little bit here. Back to Louisville's way. Subachan on it again. Running it at Onyegunle, who has a card. Subachan loses his footing. Shesky's pass deflected. Sample. Great ball. Elliott, is he taken down? No call. He doesn't seem to even really appeal for it.
That was a really good ball through, though, and that's the type of pressure that Louisville need to continue to apply against Syracuse. I mentioned how Syracuse so good about finding ways to fight through that uncomfortable feeling. That was a real resounding message from Ian McIntyre, talking about, 4 games in, they're a different team. What is their identity going to be? But against this team, Louisville specifically, moments where they were going to have to trust themselves, and they've been able to do that. That was a moment where Louisville were able to show exact same thought process where, although you probably didn't want Quentin Elliott chasing in that specific instance, he knew he had to because he did have coverage on the backside. In this back three, he gets higher, he can chase some of that space more in front of him and make Nathaniel Edwards, very uncomfortable defensively.
Guerra, that's the guy they want on the ball. Oh, deflected. Smith's able to corral. And please, folks, help people that were affected by Hurricane Idalia. Donate at redcross.org/ESPN to help the Red Cross respond and help people recover. Just a lot of devastation down there in the Florida Gulf Coast area. So please do what you can, if you can. Falls to the feet of Levesque. He's looking for the switch to Edwards. And Edwards can't get there. All right, Devin, we've seen John Michael Hayden's move to change his system and go to a 3-back, and they've kind of found their footing here. How does Ian McIntyre answer in this chess match? What would you do?
I would sit back a little bit, to be honest. And the reason I say that is with the high line, they're chasing some of these wingbacks, and so this space behind is starting to open up more frequently. It's not what we saw in the first half, where Onyegunle, Gavin Wigg, and McKenna were much more comfortable. That's because they were high and they had them pressed back in. but because they've spread the field wider, all of a sudden, Cuse has to chase that. So they go wider, they're not as compact, they're having to chase more. I would actually keep the game in front of me and let Louisville just go horizontally instead of going vertically, which we've seen over the last 5 to 7 minutes.
Last corner served in. Hit Quentin Elliott almost unsuspectingly. Zonder Road right there and inside the 6. We'll see if he can drop another ball in there. And again, I point you to Josh Jones, 6'10", 6'5". On the back with Subachan. No call. Elliott's on it. Oh, good move. And Rowe is there. It somehow stays out. Appeals for handball. Still there. Off the post or off of somebody's body. How did that stay out?
That's certainly a benefactor of a handball as this thing pops itself back up. But look at the bodies on the back post. It's not the first one. It's not the second. To beat this Syracuse team, you've got to have constant pressure. Beautiful ball. Back into the mixer by Quentin Elliott. You're just looking for a body. You get it. And even if luck helps you, it's a great resurgence by the visitors.
Well, here comes Road again. A lot of traffic around Smith. Subachan goes up. Contesting and out by D'Agostini. D'Argento on it. And that ball is not going to stay in. And we've got some movement here. We mentioned it before. Pablo Pedrogosa checks in. 66 games he played at NC State. Knows exactly what this league is all about. So he comes in for Olu Oyegunle, who was also on a yellow card. Like for like switch there.
But Dallin, remember we talked about the differentiation between those two players. Oyegunle more suited, wide open game, finding transitional moments to chase players down when need be and helping attacking wise stretch on long balls up over the top. Pedrogosa, smaller spaces to operate within, better one-on-one marking capability. That's kind of the transition that I was just talking about, where defensively you're willing to concede some possession to the visitors. And if you bring a guy like Pedrogosa in, the ability to stay in constant contact with not just the other two on the back line, but his teammates just in front of him.
Kalukian comes back in for D'Agostini. Oh, Selly high press. Didn't sound very good, but everybody came off worse aware.
We've had some tackles tonight flying around, huh, bud?
I'll tell you, the intensity is different in league play, and man, it has been felt from the very beginning in the tackles and the play. Great find of Guerra, good control. He's able to turn. He gives it a blast, but that's going to be wide. And Virginia Tech having a tough season. They were up 1-0 on the road, went to weather delay, and North Carolina pegged back to get it to 1-1. Quincy Herman was the equalizer for UNC to give each of them a point in their ACC opener. We will have the Virginia Tech game on the road at Louisville next week here on ACC Network. Friday night. Chesky plays it to Leibold. Great ball played in. Edwards slows this footing. Levesque is there. Leibold again on the left peg. And Tatafu ushers it out.
Don't forget that name, Dallin, by the way. Quincy Herman, Palm Beach Atlantic kid, Seton Hall kid, transfer for University of North Carolina. That could be a game changer for them. His personality is infectious, and they love him. Carlos Samuano calls him his little Mo Salah, so we'll see about that one as the season goes on.
Mo Salah could have been a $150 million transfer this offseason, but he wasn't. Stays with Liverpool. Levesque to play it in. And Swinging ball, headed down. Did it cross the line? Played off by Jones, I believe.
How does this not end up in the back of the net? Smetnov on the second one. Watch as he steps through here. Great job just to get the tiniest of touches. Gabriel McKenna on it, and then it just sort of pops itself around, and he picked up something. He immediately went to ground on that back post as the ball went over the end line. Class, by the way, by Sander Rode from Louisville to help up his opponent.
Back-to-back corners we've seen. I don't know how the ball stayed out. Leibold charging into the box. Good cutback. Rode is there. I mean, each team has a corner that should have somehow was not a goal, but really well done by Josh Jones to be on the line and clear that out. Under 17 minutes to play here. Syracuse up 2-1. Chance to get all 3 points in their ACC season opener. Louisville, though, has been much better the last 10 minutes or so and really turned the screws. Feels like an equalizer may be coming. There are more goals in this match. Good ball played by Leibold. And Kalukian called for the foul as he put his hands on the back of LaBelle. John Michael Hayden. Louisville looking to make a step. They made it the last 2 NCAA tournaments. He told us today we are looking to go deeper, obviously, and defensively is a lot of a focus here. And they had not allowed a goal for 331 minutes to start their season. Allowed 2 against Kentucky, 2 now so far against Syracuse. Feels like this team has a lot more growth ahead of it in the midst of a tough schedule here. Rode out to Elliott. Back to Sample. Tatafu. Recycled. Bakuzo got a lot of room. Pings it but deflected. Luki holds it up well, and there is a foul coming, yes, and there's going to be a yellow coming too. For that professional foul there. Luki was kind of swung to the ground.
Bakuzo hit that clean, by the way. That was headed right into the bottom corner, if not for that quick little deflection. Good hold-up play, though, by Nicholas Kalukian. This is something that, as the season goes on, he's got big shoes to fill, Nicholas Kalukian, and the departure of Levante Johnson for sure, but specifically Nathaniel Opoku in that hold-up play, coming down into the pocket, allowing guys like Leibold, Nathaniel Edwards, Noah Singleman for sure, to continue the advancement on the wing and making sure centrally they've still got a presence.
Pedrogosa, Leibold. Krzyzewski back to Leibold. That left peg again. Oh, Baselli was arriving but couldn't make contact. And that goes off of Elliott for another corner. Twelfth corner of the match, 11th corner of the match, excuse me, for Syracuse. Punched out by Svetnov and foul called. Let's give the Cards the ball.
They've gotten themselves on it a little bit more here, Louisville, with their tactical change now. About 12 to 15 minutes into the switch, and well, we've certainly seen them advanced higher up. They've still got to move quicker through these windows because, you know, they're bridging that gap down faster, but just like that, got to move quick.
They have a chance. Subachan. Rolled it forward, great play by Smith. Not safe yet. Shot, Smith is there again. Louisville is knocking at the door right now.
Notice how definitive it is in the decision making. That's what it's going to come down to tonight for Louisville. And yes, it's the flick on, but the immediate cutback and recognizing that you've got Gage Guerra on the run. I'll tell you, the biggest benefactors in this tactical switch so far, it hasn't been Sonderode or Bacuzzo or anyone on that front line. It's been the two outside backs in Quentin Elliott and Gaetano D'Argento. They've done an incredible job so far of not only getting involved possessionally, but making sure they're stretching this Syracuse back line. Good balance on both wings.
Sample pops it forward. Krzyzewski tries to settle, but ends up turning it over. Elliott scampers past and good tackle by Pedrosa. Pedrosa hurt himself, McKenna, excuse me, looks like he hurt himself on that tackle. He's down. You see it. Sub came on for Syracuse. You see Jackson Glenn as McKenna is laboring right now.
Studs again, watch the step through. Again, not too much in it. It's more of a follow through of anything, but this is a guy who, with all the numbers that have been ever changing for Syracuse, he's been one who stepped in immediately. Next to Gavin Wigg, next to Pedrosa, Olagunle. He's been the one constant within the back three. Great attacking presence as well as the man in front of him. Nate Edwards takes a seat and Jackson Glenn will get a chance here.
Interesting to see what that shape change may be. Glenn doesn't usually play the same position or the same style that Edwards plays. We'll see if there's a counter move here by Ian McIntyre. Damian Barker-John just checked in for Gage Guerra, a sophomore from Queens. Looking for his first goal of the season. Came on the UK game against the Kentucky game and really helped affect change in that match.
He's the type of player, though, Dallin, Damian Barker-John, that this game will suit if they can find him quick enough. The Queens native from really the first time that he stepped onto the field. So good, and whether it's been the right flank or the left, most recently it has been the right-sided argument. Just loves wide open spaces and one-on-one opportunities, and this game is calling for that right now. And it's all going to be about whether or not either it's Svetnov, LaBelle, Jones, or Tatafu on that back line can quickly find him in transition, because he's going to have the guys underneath, Bacuzzo or Sonder, Rhodes, anybody that's chasing, they're going to come. But he loves the one-on-one opportunities.
You see one of the co-captains getting ready to check in, Booster Holberg. The grad student now, transfer from Wofford, was actually a third-round pick in the MLS draft by the Vancouver Whitecaps last year. But chose to stay at Syracuse. He had off-season surgery. You know, we're talking before the season because it feels like a new man, but it's the physicality, it's the conditioning that he's still working on. Got some minutes in each game so far this year, one start. And now he enters this kind of game. Devin, you're a former center back. You're coming on cold here in a game where Louisville's got some talent and they're pushing forward right now. What is that like from that position?
I would say positionally, it's probably the most difficult thing to do outside of possibly a goalkeeper, because goalkeeper comes in, they don't get a lot of time to get shots off usually, and certainly don't have the luxury of the warm-up. So with the amount of pace, the different changing that you're going to see up top, all the changes that will be the attackers to make sure that, forget the intensity, that's something that he's been used to, and that's hard to replicate, but the actual speed of the game for a guy that, not just this year, Dallin, but within this match, hasn't had the ability. That they call him a Rolls Royce for a reason. He's comfortable. He's just kind of cruises right along, doesn't really vary emotionally from any sort of tendency one way or the other. Just the coolest customer on the block. That's going to benefit him, you would hope.
As many Swedish individuals are. Very cool, calm, collected. He has all those characteristics as well. Floated in. And there he is. And Elliott does pick up the second ball. Right in the challenge, finds Barker John. Argento gets it back to Barker John. 1v3, trying to get himself out of some trouble. Oh, good find. Bacuzzo crosses it in back post, but Smith is there. And Louisville has a chance to have their best start in program history if they can move to 5-0. I would argue most importantly, they get 3 points in the ACC standings and a huge road win as it relates to their resume. Syracuse hasn't lost. They're unbeaten the last 18 matches. Last loss was to Cornell on October 4th. But similarly, as Coach Mack told us earlier today, we're going to learn about our team. We're going to be a lot better, win or lose in this game. Right now they are winning. It's always nice to win. It's always nice to learn from winning game tape better. We mentioned the unbeaten streak for Syracuse. Loyola Chicago is on the list in terms of 4th in the nation in terms of their unbeaten run in the last 12 matches. And they are losing right now to University of Illinois Chicago. So interesting that as the Ramblers are struggling. And another sub here for Louisville. Get a couple more bodies in there. Axel Alejandre checks back in. We mentioned him, 22, transferred to North Carolina. Gage Guerra is back in the match. Their leading goal scorer, who already tallied earlier today. They're pushing Josh Jones a little bit forward. There's Jones, the big center back. Won the first ball out to Georgalitis. Deflected. Louisville yelling for a handball. They're going to get that. Leibold pushing forward, just under 9 minutes to play. Pacelli, Kalukian. Back heel doesn't come off. And Alejandre fell down. Almost turned it over. And he just pings it out to nobody. Turning out of some trouble. End up looking for Guerra. Pop forward, road in space. He's got Big Jones in the middle. Can't get it over the defender, though. Levesque looking for an outlet. Finds Kalukian. Kalukian goes down. Quick restart here by Louisville. And Matt Thompson will call the foul there.
They did this a couple of times last year with the big center back Josh Jones and moving him onto that front line. Again, you're just trying to find a target body to play off of. And if you get the chance to actually play into him, all of a sudden, the world's your oyster, because guys like Gage Guerra and Saunders Road, that secondary ball, the 50-50 down underneath, even if you don't win the first one, that allows them, as those advanced positional players, to read it and really chase the shape of the back line from Syracuse.
I'm sure you don't see him often making runs right in the middle of the box where Road had a chance to serve the ball into him. Syracuse is happy to watch that clock keep ticking down. Has a little bit of space, but he tried to dribble it. The JMA Wireless Dome is about a mile away. Jones contesting, as you saying, trying to win that. Set up his teammate to win a second ball. Barker John will track it down. Under 6 minutes to go. Svednov almost slipped there. His clearance just goes out. John Michael Hayden just pulled the strings. He's made moves, gone to a 3-back, put Jones up top. They've turned the game. They're still right there as Levesque, the goal scorer, currently is the game-winning goal in the 33rd minute, comes out for Nate Edwards. Ian McIntyre are trying to relay messaging with Nate Edwards and Jackson Glenn, how they're going to change up their situation to see this out. Krzyzewski up to Edwards, fresh legs. Got a couple runners in the box. Can he find Baselli? Almost. Jordan pass turned over. Leibold charging. Leibold just ran a real estate.
I would say that the overall quality of this game is unfortunately faded, but it's not for lack of effort. And a lot of times in the college game, Dallin, you and I have seen it so many times before that things start to become scattered and the structure of it all just seems to fade. Come down to one-on-one moments like this. Kalukian again! Not once, not twice, and he doesn't have the finish! Oh, that would have been something. Your Big Ten Freshman of the Year shows the overall quality, and since transferring to Syracuse, hasn't found pay dirt yet. 5th game, no goals for him just yet, but that is what he's capable of. Crafty, that little shift back over, using the body to his advantage, just the overall quality lacking on the tail end of it. Just leaving guys in his wake, but couldn't find the net. And Louisville is still right there. 1 moment, 1 goal away. Quentin Elliott subbed in for Georgalitis. That was him on the ball right there. Sample, long ball looking for Jones. Jones heads it down, but right to the path of Josh Balluz. That is high in the night. Sky comes down. You can hear the Louisville bench yelling, Josh, Josh. There it is, trying to play it to Jones. Holbert is there. Subachan, a little bit of room. He's crowded out. Louisville wants a foul, none given. LaBelle on it, he'll clip it in. Sample steps forward. Elliott, oh, good move by Elliott. Barker John, can he turn? Could not. Under 3 minutes to go. Edwards trying to get in transition the other way. Good recovery by LaBelle. LaBelle on a yellow card, and Edwards says he wants a foul. They're not going to get it. Louisville's upset by the call, but Bradley Sample can't believe it. Selly's still on the deck. One wonders what could have been for Louisville tonight. Again, still 2.5 minutes, and certainly the hope that an opportunity is still laying and waiting for them, but just as quick as the start was, almost immediately reciprocated on the fast fade. And you know, funny, coming in, both coaches, their main concern was going to be the level of effort, the intensity that was going to be in the game because of the fact that ACC It's just different. Anybody that's played in it, coached in it, been a part of it will tell you that a contest such as this, it's so difficult and nearly impossible to replicate the overall output that you have to put forth. And Syracuse, with 2 minutes to go, seems to have done so. Moment though.
Maybe not. Oh, Jones had it, but the pass was behind. The big center back was able to turn the defender. .120 seconds to go, and they've got a shot. They have knocked on the door. Can they close the deal and steal a point? Headed down, Guerra, and the defended well by Wig, but not done. Rode earns him a corner. And the ball is gone, and the clock will stop by Matt Thompson.
This is a tackle by Gavin Wig. Just the first one, and then this is the second one that comes back across. Good recovery defending, but the one-on-one down in the box. That was Gavin Wig matched up against Sonder Rode. Excellent defending.
Rode to take it. Even on corners in the second stanza. Crowd is there on the hill, urging their boys on to clear it. One of the best dead ball specialists. And now we've got a review situation. And again, as Sonder Rode just said, what are they checking?
One wonders if they're checking the shove on the backside of this play. Right there. Pass.
We're looking at that. I don't know what we're looking at.
I'm good without it. Thank you, sir.
Let's play. So we are reviewing some contact on a Syracuse player in the midfield is what we're being told. That camera angle doesn't reveal much for us. That ball didn't come off Wig's arm, did it? What are we looking at here?
Well, you can't review a handball, though.
Yes, if the penalty wasn't called, you're right. So
it doesn't hit him anyway. Great flick on by Josh Jones, by the way. There's not a ton that you're seeing in all the views that we're getting. Again, the only thing that you and I, although maybe a bit soft, certainly a bit soft, was the shove on the backside by Sonder Rode. Everything else that we've been privy to so far, as our viewers at home, really hasn't shown anything else.
I am a proponent of review in college sports with certain exceptions. And we're being told they're looking for dangerous contact in the midfield. Now, our replays are not the same replay system, so unfortunately we cannot see what Matt Thompson is looking at. So it may be this play after the ball was cleared. And that is Axel Alejandre coming in and clearing out Krzyzewski. And is that a dangerous play, a violent behavior, which could warrant a card? And the official review is over with 1:39 seconds to go and the ball at a corner. A 5-minute break, a 4-minute break. Okay, here we go. Back where we started. Louisville, chance to equalize here potentially. They put in some dangerous corners. It's down, and it's in! Can you believe it? It's Guerra again! John Michael Hayden thinks it's a Sunday walk in the park. Not his team, not their fans. 2-2. And that man, again, cannot stop scoring.
After the long wait, Dallin, they immediately got this thing going. And my first wording to you was going to be moments like this and elongated pauses. This is what comes back to snakebite teams. You stand there, you wait, you lose focus, communication starts to subside, and the overall construct defensively of what needs to be starts to lack. It's exactly what happens. Booster Hobert on the near post just doesn't step into the ball. Give Gage Guerra credit, because at 5'10" and all the tall bodies that we've talked about all game long, he just slides right underneath. Nobody steps through it, and then immediately reminding him that yes, you were leading. Yes, you have been the better team, but we too have been unfallible this year. And though it may be a draw, 5 games, 6 goals for Gage Guerra, and the hope that a point has just been salvaged.
And Guerra, man, 6 goals in 4 games. There's his yellow for disrobing. That's an automatic. And it's a poacher's goal. It fell to him, and he just flicked it right in the roof of the net. A transfer from Army, the reigning ACC Offensive Player of the Week. He's got 4 goals this week, both against ranked opponents. He's probably doubling down. But a minute and a half to go. Again, Syracuse equalized, as we got a body down now and a foul called. Syracuse equalized in 74 seconds when they went down in this match, and in 6 seconds in the dying embers against Penn State to draw that match 1-1. Matt Thompson stops the clock. Things are getting testy. You can understand why these points in this league are so valuable. Nicholas Kalukian, just he got a yellow card now. He's gone in Matt Thompson's book. Pacelli tries to find Rapid. Holy cow, Josh Jones just crushed him. And he'll get a yellow for a professional foul and stopping an attack.
He knew exactly what he was doing, because that speed that's available to Jonah Leibold, he gets this touch in behind and they're off to the races. A guy who was questionable coming into the match tonight for Syracuse, though he hasn't had as many minutes as he would like throughout the course of this match, is going to give them a real good opportunity here, though probably worse for the wear on that challenge.
Leibold plays it short to Krzyzewski. Cuts inside. Lays it off to Edwards. He floats it in, and Svetnov's right there. 46 seconds to go. Louisville was knocking on the door. It seemed more than likely they could equalize this game. The last 15, 20 minutes, they were the better team. The ebbs and flows of soccer, the game of inches. And they may be able to walk out of here with a point. First time they're not going to have all 3 this season, but this would be a glorious one. Point if they could get it. Still looking for more, though. 14 seconds to go. Flicked on. And that'll do it. Devin, our first ACC game. What do you make of what just took place here at SU Soccer Stadium?
If you're Syracuse, listen, you're going to be happy with the fact that you didn't lose the game, but you're going to certainly be upset by the fact that you didn't close it out, because they had so many opportunities in the first half. Just that one moment in the second where they've got to figure out a way to close out a game against a quality ranked opponent in Louisville that, listen, they just learned that they are not going to be at their best sometimes. They are going to have to chase matches. They're going to be in really uncomfortable situations fighting for their lives, and yet this turned out to be a character game where they stood the task, they were up for it, and they were able to grab a massive point on the road. They got to hold their heads high, because it was a rough night, but still able to get something out of this match.
Syracuse remains unbeaten, 19 straight, but I'll tell you what, to those Syracuse fans, that felt like an L, because they were less than 2 minutes away from